Good morning. I'm going to call to order this meeting of the Monroe County Board of Commissioners. It's Wednesday, April 13th, and we will begin with our public statement read by Commissioner Githens.
Good morning. We, the Monroe County Board of Commissioners, renew our commitment to welcome and protect the rights of all people, regardless of age, race, color, creed, disability, sexual orientation, gender, gender identity, marital status, economic status, and national origin. And we affirm the right of every person to live peacefully and without fear, and we will fight and resist at every step discrimination and harmful policies, whatever their source. We also stand in support of our county public school systems, both RBB and MCCSC.
Thank you so much. Next, we move on to department updates. Good morning, Ms. Cottle.
Good morning. How are you?
We're great. Thank you.
That is great. I did want to share something, and can you see that flyer?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So I just have a little bit to share with you today. Monroe County and all of Indiana does remain in a low community level at this time. There are some areas, certainly of the US, where rates are rising and are in medium or even high levels. So we continue to watch what's going on. We want to look at our local cases, our hospitalizations, deaths, even looking at that water data to guide our local information about what's happening. So those pieces of information will kind of alert us if we see that things might be increasing. But currently we're holding steady and just want people to remain careful and aware. We are preparing to do our after action report related to the community's pandemic response. And then on the other note, and this is why I wanted to share my screen today, our community health assessment was completed. The report is being proofed right now and it will be released shortly. The next step is the development of a community health improvement plan, and that will join our community members in efforts to build the health of our community based on what they see as priorities. So to do that, we are hosting these two events. We call them think tanks. We've done that now with the last few assessments that we've done. These are opportunities for community members to come to the table. Now that they've hopefully participated in that survey and in the community health assessment, they can come to the table to review, get an idea of from that assessment what the priorities were that people indicated they were concerned about, and they can help us identify and narrow a few targeted priorities that we can work on in the next few years as a community. So then we'll develop teams to actually work on those. So it won't just, this is not the health department's plan or the hospital's plan. This is a community plan, and it will involve our community partners, and we hope lots of community members. So please mark your calendar April 27th from 4 to 6 at Switchyard Park Pavilion, or April 30th from 1:15 to 3:15 at the Banneker Community Center. We do encourage everybody to register so that we can plan for setup and accommodations. There is also some help available for people who might not be able to come if they didn't have transportation or childcare needs taken care of. So if you register, then we can, and you indicate that you have needs around those two issues, then we can certainly be aware of that and offer some services to you. So please join us in that, share the information, come and share your thoughts around the public health needs assessment that's been done. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Cottle. We really appreciate you. And see if there are any comments or questions, Commissioner Githens.
This community health initiative is what's been funded by the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. Is that correct?
No, actually it is separate, although the Community Voices for Health group is working with us as a partner on it, and the data from their work is has been added to our assessment. So just goes to show that that funding and that initiative coupled with even what the hospital, IU Health has done, and then some additional surveys that we've done. It is a very robust assessment that really includes all of that information. Truly a community, bringing together all the community resources and activity around what our needs are.
Excellent. Thank you. Commissioner Jones.
No, I don't.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Cottle. I do have a general question for you about how we're reporting COVID cases right now. And it's basically, is it true that we're just looking at hospitalization numbers and using that as our metric, as our core metric?
Well, that is certainly the big driver. And then cases per 100,000 in terms of what's reported. So the percent positivity isn't as valuable as a metric now as it was earlier on. And as more people are doing testing that maybe at home, so it's not all reported, we are still looking at the number of reported cases. So positive cases, PCR cases, positive and negative, are still reportable. And we are still looking at that, along with what's happening at the hospitals. So those community levels and are kind of based on those things kind of coupled together. And we are really, in terms of the reporting, moving to more of an influenza type model.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. We appreciate all the information. Thank you for that. And let's see if there are any other departments that have an update for us. Raise your hand on the Zoom screen or come up to the podium in Nat U Hill. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to our next agenda item, which is public comment. This is for public comment, an opportunity for public comment for items that are not on our agenda. And we ask that folks on Zoom raise their hand, or in those who are in the Nat U Hill room to come to the podium. You will have a total of 3 minutes to speak. At 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you will hear a tone. And when you hear that tone, that means you have 30 seconds to wrap up your comment. The same will be true for public comment on our agenda items. And it looks like we do have a commenter, Ron Thompson. If you could verify your name and let us know if you're a Monroe County resident, please.
I'm sorry, I was muted. I am Ron Thompson, and I am a Monroe County resident.
Good morning.
Good morning, commissioners. First of all, I noticed that you can't do chats because the host has blocked us. My comment initially is that the commissioner's audio is very low, and I have to go to closed caption to understand what it is that you're saying. Ms. Cottle's comments were loud and clear. Having said that, I want to talk this morning about Smart 911, and I would assume that you as commissioners know what Smart 911 is, but most people I encounter throughout the community do not. I learned about Smart 911 by listening in on a children's presentation by a Bloomington fireman, and it's a service that the county pays for where citizens can enroll, and it gives central dispatch information that is helpful when they would have to respond to an emergency at your location. That includes health conditions, age and number of occupants in your home, location of bedrooms and the ages of the occupants of those, types of heating and hot water and turn off for water and gas locations, to include electrical power box. And, I could go on and on, but you get the idea. It's information that emergency service personnel could use. That's the good news. The bad news is it's hard to find any information on it. I couldn't find it on your website. I couldn't find it on the Bloomington Police Department or the Bloomington Fire Department's website. And I would encourage your listening audience to spread the word about this service. You can just Google Smart 911 and it'll come up and it'll show you how to enroll. There's also a trifold that can be given out, and I would suggest you get a hold of some of those and put them in the county buildings for the public to peruse and also to enroll. And but I just ask you spread the rules. Everybody I've talked to think it's a great idea. Most of them have enrolled. I've enrolled my neighbor. And that's all I have this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. All right. Let's see if there's anyone else to offer public comment for items not on our agenda. All right. Seeing none, we'll move on with our agenda. Item 5, please.
Move approval of the minutes from the Commissioners meeting of April 6, 2022.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments, corrections, edits?
There was one Scribner's error that Ms. Freeman has already corrected.
Excellent. Okay. All those in favor of approving the minutes for April 6, 2022 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Move approval of the claims docket, accounts payable April 13th, 2022.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second, and we have Mr. Miller joining us via Zoom. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. The total for claims was $4,413,680. $3,604,857.34 was for the local income tax distribution for April. Of that total, $752,140.15 was for the public safety answering point local income tax specifically. $139,541.50 was for Stonebelt Arc Inc. For the second quarter allocation per council. And finally, $124,345 was for Strausser Construction Company Inc. $49,580 was for the remodel project of the Napa building, and $74,765 of that total was for the construction on the Bryan facility.
Thank you so much, Mr. Miller. Comments, questions, Commissioner Giffens?
No, there was a lot to get through though.
Yep.
40 pages, I think it was.
Yes, 40 pages.
Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't.
Okay, any public comment on this item, either come to the podium in the Nat U Hill room or raise your hand on the Zoom screen, please. Okay, seeing none, we'll come back to the board for a vote. All those in favor of approving the claims docket, accounts payable April 13th, 2022, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. We don't have any reports today, and so we will move on to new business. Item A, please.
Move approval of 3 separate items. 2023 application for sections 5311/5339 assistance for rural areas grant, approval of resolution 2022-14, and approval of a matching dollars of $66,000 subject to council approval during their 2023 budget hearings. Fund name County General, fund number 1000-0068, and a total amount of $66,000.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Shall we start with Ms. Purdy?
Yes, good morning. This is an ongoing grant that Monroe County has been a participant of with Area 10 Rural Transit. I don't remember the number of years, but it's been quite some length of time. And so Ms. Myers is here from Area 10 Rural Transit to kind of give a more explanation as to what this grant is actually going to provide. And I believe that you guys we did get notice that you were going to be able to get some vehicles.
Yes, yeah, so, yeah, right
Yeah.
before the meeting. Right, so we've been providing the public transportation through rural transit, the FTA 5311 program operation funds for like 35 years. We cover Monroe, Owen, Putnam, and Lawrence counties, and this is for anybody to ride. So it's not just for the older population or the disabled population, though that is a misconception because our organization focuses on that, but it is a public transportation program. This is the operating grant that's due for 2023, so January through December. The allocation for the FTA allocation is $891,641. The total budget would be $1,830,587. Of which 70,000 is expected for fares. So that's what we're asking for in renewal for our application. Part of that is local match. We have local match from the Monroe County Commissioners. We also have it from the, Lawrence County Commissioners, Putnam County Commissioners, and the town of Spencer, and then other local support that we have for that. In addition, we have for the past 2 years been unable to get capital replacement vehicles, and we have needed and budgeted for 12 of our 29, which is quite a bit. I mean, those vehicles are the 2009. 8 of them are not functioning at all anymore. We can't even drive them. They're parked, and yet we're stuck not replacing them because NDOT is not letting us purchase those through their Midwest Transit QPA provider. As you know, there's a problem with supply and it is ongoing. But as of a week ago, they did say that we are able to at least apply for the low floor minivans. That'll help a little bit, not a whole lot. The buses that we need to replace are the 16 capacity plus 2 wheelchair. So we are asking for 3 of those. We're not asking for any local match from the commissioners on that. We have that secured, carried over from 2020, actually, for this purpose. So that is what we're asking for. I did want to just give an update that we are short drivers in Monroe County, 3 full-time and 2 part-time. So that's not insignificant for us either. We're still meeting demand for the most part because demand is still returning from the pandemic period, which is good considering our bus and our driver situation, but hopefully everything will be back soon. So any questions that you have for me? For rural transit or otherwise?
Thank you so much, Ms. Myers. Comments, questions, Commissioner Githens?
Yes, where could people apply if they want to be a driver?
They can go to our website or we have a posting on Indeed. They can call, they walk in the door. We have a sign out front.
They can take the bus there, right?
Yeah. I bake goods and bring them in for people, staff.
Nice.
I do what I can, right?
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't right now.
Yeah, we appreciate the service for our residents, and I think that's one of the biggest myths, that it's a bus system reserved for elderly folks, and that's not true, and so it's good to spell that.
Yep, it's a constant theme. We need to keep
Yes.
reminding people. Yes.
Excellent, great.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. We appreciate the way this has been put together, and Ms. Purdy, thank you for your help on organizing this important bit of legislation. Let's see if there's any public comment on this item. Anyone in the Nat U Hill room, please come up to the podium or raise your hand on the Zoom screen. And seeing none, we'll come back for a vote. All those in favor of approving the rural transit items, including resolution 2022-14, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's great to see you. All right, next item, please.
Move approval of National Center Media Agreement for YSB, fund name Runaway and Homeless, fund number 8120, in an amount of $5,000. Second.
We have a motion and a second, and we have Ms. Nasby here joining us.
Well, good morning, commissioners.
Good
It's good to be
morning.
here in person. It's been quite a while. So I am Bridget Nasby from Services Bureau. This is again one of our longstanding contracts that we have as part of our multifaceted outreach strategy to educate youth and families about the Safe Place program. So people in the public aren't familiar, Safe Place is that program where kids can access help if they're ever in a crisis, and all of the program is free. So this particular contract focuses on in-theater advertising, but we have over the last few years added a digital component, especially during the pandemic, to educate kids. So commercials go out on streaming services and several channels that target youth specifically and families, but we also still can keep that in theater advertising. So people are going to the movies, they're going to see that ad before PG movies and higher, and they're going to see that ad out in the lobby. I think it's running every 12 minutes. So that's been a pretty standard part of our outreach for quite some time. So you'll see in this campaign that it's going to run a little bit different because it's running May 23rd to December 31st, which is pretty cool for me. They're going to do 8 weeks of in-theater advertising. We're only doing 1 theater this year just because of staffing issues on the east side. But the digital impressions, which we're really excited about, reach over 85,000 people over that period of time. So this is usually pretty effective, and we can gather all that data and report it in all of our reports that we have to do for everything else. So the return is pretty good on this contract as well.
Right. Thank you so much. Comments, questions, Commissioner Giffens?
Yes, I think I just heard you say that it runs with PG and up movies, because that wasn't clear in the information that we were provided. So thank you.
Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't at this time. Thank you.
This is a great campaign, and it's done some wonders in terms of getting the word out. So appreciate that you've continued to pursue it. I think it's a good avenue.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really excited. This is a newer part over the last 10 years that we've gotten to add, and the digital part is really cool. Part of it is kind of strange thinking about how much we have access to your phones, but at the same time, getting that information out is cool too.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right, let's see if there's any public comment on this item. Either come to the podium in the Nat U Hill room or raise your hand on the Zoom screen. And seeing none, we'll come back for a vote. All those in favor of approving the agreement with National Cinemedia for YSB signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, next item, please.
Move approval of the memorandum of understanding with Indiana University trustees to create High-Tech Crimes Unit Fund. Fund name, High-Tech Crimes Unit, Fund number 9159, in the amount of $253,488.17.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second, and we have our prosecutor, Ms. Oliphant, joining us via Zoom. Tell us all about it, please.
All right, good morning. So Erica Oliphant, prosecuting attorney, and you may recall that back in November, I asked the commissioners to sign a memorandum of agreement with the Indiana Prosecuting Attorneys Council to accept grant funds to establish a regional high-tech crime unit in Monroe County in partnership with Indiana University. And so this memorandum of agreement is to formalize the partnership with Indiana University. The MOU that I've brought to you today, it was reviewed by David Schilling. Essentially, how our partnership will work is that the director of the high-tech crime unit will be an Indiana University employee. IU has already created the job description, and we have interviewed and selected a candidate for the director position. We do need this MOU in place to formally offer the position and get up and running. Any assets that are purchased with grant funds, such as a forensic computer and other digital forensic software and licenses, will be tagged or inventoried as county property. But during the terms of this MOU, those items will be for the use of the unit to further our work processing digital evidence for 10 counties in our region. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, but this is really just a continuation of the work that I brought to you back in November of 21.
Thank you so much. Comments, questions, Commissioner Githens?
Well, given the few things that have happened recently, I'm happy that this is in place.
Absolutely. Commissioner Jones?
Yes, I was wondering if things like scams actually qualify as high-tech crime.
Sure. So high-tech crime is not necessarily a specific type of crime. It actually has more to do with what type of evidence is available. So a high-tech crime is anything that has used a computer network, cell phones, and other forms of digital evidence. And so certain scams certainly would fall into that category, but it could also include things such as homicides that use that have digital evidence as a component.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's see if there's any public comments on this item. See if there's anyone in the Nat U Hill room to come to the podium or via Zoom, please raise your hand. Seeing none, we'll come back to the board for a vote. All those in favor of approving the memorandum of understanding with Indiana University trustees for the High Tech Crimes Unit Fund signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, next item, please.
Move approval of BTEC Fire and Security proposal for camera system at the Curry Building. Fund name, cumulative capital, fund number 1138 in the amount of $23,798.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second, and we have Mr. Crone here, our facilities manager, to tell us all about it.
Good morning, everyone. Over about the past 2 years, as camera systems in the various county buildings has become obsolete or started to fail, technical services department had worked to get all our security cameras on one standardized system with one software backend. The Curry Building located at 214 West 7th is the last building we have still on a non-standardized camera system. System is obsolete and beyond service life and needs repaired. So this proposal from BTEC Services would be to replace all the cameras in the existing locations, adding new cameras in some new locations and replacing the DVR system as well as the back-end software for that.
Great, thank you so much. Comments, questions, Commissioner Githens?
I'm glad we're moving forward with this.
Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I was going to ask if there were any buildings left that didn't have this updated system, and that was, you already answered that. Thank you. Let's see if we have any public comment on this item, either here in the Nat U Hill room, come up to the podium, or via Zoom. Please raise your hand. All right, seeing none, we'll come back to the board for a vote. All those in favor of approving the BTEC Fire and Security proposal for a camera system at Curry Building signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Move approval of BTEC Fire and Security proposal for access control system at the Curry Building. Fund name, cumulative capital, fund number 1138 in an amount of $10,955.31.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Crone, please tell us all about this.
Okay. Again, this kind of mirrors the security camera from the last item. The Curry Building is the last building we have that's not on our standardized swipe lock system. So this is a proposal from BTEC to incorporate the existing swipe locks that are there onto that system, as well as adding 5 additional swipe locks throughout the building.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Comments, questions, Commissioner Githens?
Sounds like we're improving the security.
Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Thank you so much for working on this and pulling this together. We appreciate it. Let's see if there's any public comment on this item, either here in the Nat U Hill room or via Zoom. Raise your hand, please. All right, seeing none, we'll come back for a vote. All those in favor of approving the BTEC Fire Security proposal for access control system at Curry signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you again.
Thank you, Commissioners.
And we'll move on to the next item, please.
Move approval of ordinance 2022-10, add chapter 256 regarding authorized personnel only areas.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second, and we have Mr. Cockrell here to tell us all about it.
Yes, I think this is fairly straightforward. Traditionally, and since I've been here, we've always allowed departments to choose which part of their work area is public. It was open to the public and which is staff-only areas. This kind of codifies that concept and provides a penalty if there's a violation of that. So this is just kind of putting that long-standing tradition into our code. It also allows our fleet and facilities manager to make these decisions for areas that aren't really for only one department. And I think we're thinking of maybe break areas or things like that, where, you know, more than one department has access and therefore wouldn't be allocated to just solely one department.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Comments, questions? Commissioner Githens?
No.
Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't. Thank you.
All right, I don't either. Let's see if there's any public comment on this item. Raise your hand on the Zoom screen or come to the podium in the Nat U Hill room. And seeing none, we will come back for a vote. All those in favor of approving ordinance 2022-10 signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. And next item, please.
Move approval of resolution 2022-13, clerk service agreements, fund name elections, fund number 1215, and a total amount of $14,420. That's broken down to Hart Intercivic Election Day support for primary voting on May 3rd in the amount of $4,660. Hart Intercivic Election Day support for November 8th, 2022. The same amount of $4,660, and Hart Intercivic Election Training for 3 days for $5,100.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second, and we have Ms. Martin joining us via Zoom. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies. First, I want to say I need workers for Election Day. And I'm going to give you some numbers. If you are working as a Democrat, you would call Orion Sack. His number is 812-320-0389. If you're working as a Republican, call Pamela Samples. Her number is 812-322-9114. So that's my public service announcement. So we're going back to the contracts with Hart. Election Day support is exactly what it says it is. They fly in for the day to help us if we have any problems during the primary and the general. The third is for training. We had a person step down that was a vital person to us in our election job performance. So we had to get Hart to come in to train the replacement. So that's it. That's what I have, the three.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Comments, questions? Commissioner Githens?
I'm very proud of the fact that we make sure that elections occur and that they're safe and secure.
Excellent. Commissioner Jones?
Yeah, I just want to mention that I got my postcard.
Oh, good, good, good.
A couple days ago, and it was, I think it's very effective. It was well
Thank
done.
you. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Let's see if there's any public comment on this item, either in the Nat U Hill room. Please come to the podium. Or if you're on Zoom, please raise your hand on the Zoom screen. And seeing none, we will come back for a vote. All those in favor of approving resolution 2022-13 signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you again, Ms. Martin. And if you could type those numbers into the chat, folks may be able to see it as well.
I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, next item, please.
Move approval of the license agreement with Indiana Railroad Company.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second, and we have Ms. Rich here to tell us all about it. Good morning.
Good morning. So we've received, it's called 130 funding, actually through NDOT for our Karst Trail at the Loesch Road crossing. And it will have a private at-grade crossing. So this is the license to work with the railroad to be able to have this, to have access to our walking trail. It's funded 90%, 10% local match. So the funding from NDOT for this is $350,000.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Comments, questions, Commissioner Gittens?
Could you let the public know how long you have worked to make this happen? It's been years, right?
Well, the Karst Trail, I believe phase one probably started back in 2014, I'd say. And then so we've had to piece it together just to phase it due to funding. And then, of course, the Parks Department applied for the Next Level grant and was one of the first recipients of that award to finish this project. So yeah, it's coming together. So we're finally putting the final pieces together. And I think the railroad crossing will be the last piece to connect it to Ellettsville.
You're also putting into place several things that make the public safer, right? In terms of,
Absolutely. And it's been great working with the railroad on this at NDOT. I wasn't even aware of 130 funding. But then I've learned a little bit more about it, and it is all built for safety at railroad crossings. So
Excellent. Thank you so much. Commissioner Jones,
No, I don't. Thank you.
thanks for working on this. This is great.
absolutely, it's
Yes.
been a great team effort with the Trails Group and Parks Department. So, and the legal department, of course.
Excellent work. This is a nice piece to add. Let's see if there's any public comment on this item. Either come to the podium in the Nat U Hill room or raise your hand on the Zoom screen. And seeing none, we'll come back for a vote. All those in favor of approving the license agreement with the Indiana Railroad Company signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
move approval of beam longest and NEF construction services for Vernal Pike Connector Road. Fund name Vernal Pike Connector Road, fund number 8165, in an amount of $1,015,700.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Ms. Ridge, please tell us all about it.
So this will be for construction inspection services for overseeing the construction of this new extension of Sunrise Greetings Court. It will go from Sunrise Greeting Courts connects with Vernal Pike. We will extend that road south to connect with Profile Parkway and Gates Drive, which opened this year. It goes to letting right now as of 11/16/2022. That might go a little bit later depending on how right-of-way acquisition proceeds. And we have, I believe, $7,088,000 for construction from NDOT for this project.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much. Comments, questions, Commissioner Giffens?
Is this another 80-20 sort of match or
It
approximately?
is not an 80-20 at this point. Design and right-of-way has been at local cost, and that's on our west side TIF. The cost of the project, of course, has increased as we move forward due to the construction of a bridge on this project. So it's not quite 80-20. I would say it's more of maybe a 60-40, 65-35. However, as you get closer to construction and it goes to letting and we see where the numbers are, we can reach out to NDOT, and if maybe another LPA has not been able to get a project to construction, funds can sometimes become available to put to projects that are ready to go. So we will always reach out and ask if there's more money.
Excellent. Commissioner Jones?
Yes, does this road have a name yet? Or is it just going to be Vernal Pike Connector?
Well, we named it Vernal Pike Connector because we weren't sure of the route at the time we were going to take, because we used to have an at-grade crossing behind Coles, and then Coles was built there, and we were going to do it as, it was actually Industrial Park Drive Connector. So we changed it to this. I'm not sure if it'll stay as Sunrise Greetings Court and go all the way through there, but it won't stay as Vernal Pike Connector.
Thank you. Excellent. Let's limit the confusion. Excellent. Thank you so much. All right, let's see if there's any public comment on this item, either here in the Nat U Hill room or via Zoom. It looks like we have Mr. Shelton joining us from the chamber. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Shelton on behalf of the Chamber, but also as a member of the Monroe County Redevelopment Commission. We urge you to approve this. We're very excited about this. We've been working on this for a number of years, as Ms. Ridge sort of alluded to earlier. It will greatly improve traffic flow out there in that area where traffic is very dense now. It will allow people to get into the shopping center area or using Profile Parkway to get to what Cook is doing at the OGE site. It'll help access to Ivy Tech. And will just greatly increase flow out there without people having to get on either State Road 48 or Curry Pike. So we encourage you to approve this. We certainly want to salute and thank Ms. Ridge for her work with NDOC to secure the funding that she mentioned, and have no doubt that if it is possible to secure more, she'll be the person to do it. So please approve this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shelton. Let's see if there's any other public comments. And he is right to thank Ms. Ridge for her hard work on this. All right, with that, we will come back for a vote. All those in favor of approving the agreement with Beam Longus and Neff Construction Services for Vernal Pike Connector Road signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. We don't have any appointments today. And I would remind folks that yes, election workers are needed. Please contact the clerk's office if you're available to serve on election day. We do have some openings on boards and commissions, including the Board of Zoning Appeals. So please get your application in by going to co.monroe.in.us and looking for doing a search for board and commissions application. As Ms. Caudle mentioned, there is an opportunity for area residents to provide input to improve the health and well-being of the community. And you can offer your input on our community's health by attending one of the 2 think tanks. The first is at Switchyard Park Pavilion, April 27th, 4 to 6. And the other is at the Banneker Community Center from 1:15 to 3:15 on April 30th. So please join us. Our Emergency Management Department has provided a list of blood drives through the fall. And the May blood drives are April 4th, which is a Wednesday from 10 to 3.
You mean May?
I'm sorry, May 4th and May 5th, which is Thursday, which is a Thursday from 1 to 6. And this is at Ivy Tech. So many thanks to Ivy Tech for their assistance. We also want to remind our community members that we have a resident alert system available to keep you apprised of any dangerous storms or weather events, and you can sign up for free at co.monroe.in.us. Just click on the megaphone and follow the steps to sign up. Any other announcements? Commissioner Gittens?
No.
Commissioner Jones? Okay. So we do have a work session agenda today. Can we come back at 11 a.m. for that? Is that okay? Great. All right. So we will come back at 11 a.m. for our work session. And in the meantime, our regular session is adjourned. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, TSB, for all your hard work.